He's out for the season. Liz Frank injury. Obviously, very sad deal. One of our leaders, great football player, great person, and he's done for the year.
How tough is it when it's a senior and he's your captain? I mean, that's really got to hurt because he's such an integral person and you want your captain on the field.
I mean, it's been a tough year that way. Obviously, to lose your quarterback in the first game and then come back, like you said, and lose your team captain, one of our best players, a leader on and off the field. You know, he symbolizes everything we're trying to preach here at our program. Do what's right here, work hard on the football field, be a humble person, you know, be a good student, do what you're supposed to in the hall. He did all of that. So, but with that said, he'll still be able to lead, you know, not from on the field, but he'll still be a leader from the sidelines.
Well, I was just say, did you talk to Daniel and say that, look, we still need you. You're still our leader in many ways, and we're going to need you to continue in that captain's role? Because there's a lot of other things that go on involved with that role.
He's a way better leader than I am. He talked to the team before any of that. So he talked to the team today and expressed what he's going to continue to do, how he's going to lead, you know, which we're really excited about from that standpoint. Just, you know, obviously he's down, but he's handling it the best that you can.
I mean, you said it, the injury gods are not smiling on Navy. How often in one season do you lose your starting quarterback and your defensive captain and a guy that's like your leading tackler? It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, Wags, but it's part of sports, unfortunately. You know, they're good kids, they're tough kids, and, you know, good people, and they'll bounce back.
Looking at it, do you like the way that your kids have moved on? They were already saying in the locker room after the Air Force game that they had to move on. Have you seen that in reality? Does it appear that they put that behind?
We had okay practice. I mean, I don't know if it was picture perfect. It was okay. And I don't know if I'll ever love practice. But, you know, when you come to play a team like Houston, you know, after you get your butt whooped by, you know, one of your rivals, a team like Houston wakes you up really quickly. You don't have any, there can't be any lingering effects, or this game will get ugly really quickly. And I thought it was okay, but not great.
I know you said on the teleconference you don't try to do anything special. You use your scout team the way you always would. But within your scout team, do you try to find somebody that looks a little like Greg Ward and can move around? I saw number one was a quick little guy and was scrambling around.
Well, unfortunately, we got some guys that maybe, I don't even know if they're as fast as him, but try to simulate that. But then they can't throw the ball, and the guys that throw the ball can't run like him.
Right.
So
it's hard to find,
Yeah, just obviously, and, you know, we do the best we can, but there's no way you can imitate that kid. I mean, he's one of the best in the country.
Would it be fair to say that the best defense against this offense would be to time of possession, controlling the ball, keep them off the field? Do you think that would be a great recipe for Navy?
Yeah, but they kind of turned the tables on us last year.
Yeah, they sped you up a little bit.
No, they sped us up. They had the ball.
Oh, right.
You know what I mean? So we had been, you know, eating up the clock against everybody. But last year, possession-wise, I mean, they had the ball pretty much the whole first half.
Right. What I meant is when you scored, it happened kind of quickly.
Well, but then they converted 16 of 19 third downs.
Right.
They had converted both third. So they just had the ball a ton. You know, they talked about the rushing deal, which is fine, but we weren't trying to run the ball. We were throwing the ball. We were behind.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it wasn't like we were trying to run the ball. We couldn't. We were behind. And so, you know, we'll see what happens.
Right. We just talked to Coach Niumatalolo, and he told us about Daniel Gonzalez being lost for the year. Just tell me how that difficult it is for you as a defensive coordinator, get to know this kid over the years. This is a terrible way to have your career go to end.
Yeah, it's hard anytime you lose a player, especially one like him. He's, you know, not only is a good football player, but motivationally, he's, you know, what this team is all about. His character, his toughness. You know, we lose more than just a football player with him. Although he's the kind of guy he'll be around. So the linebackers might wish he was still playing. So.
Right. Well, that's what I was going to say. If you had a chance to talk to him and just say that you can still have an integral role with this team.
Oh yeah, and he knows that. I've talked to him, and he knows that. In fact, he talked to the team and said about that. You know, he's going to be worse than Coach John's on him, so he'll take charge. I'm not worried about that.
So where do you go at this point with inside linebacker? I think we talked about this the other day with who filled in against Air Force. We're talking about Mike Kelly, and I believe we said Sullivan.
Yeah. You got Mike Kelly, Sullivan, Wynn Howard, Heflin. They'll all kind of vie for the position. Right now it's open, and we'll let them fight it out.
All right. Do you feel like you got guys that, I mean, I don't think anybody can replace Daniel Gonzalez, but do you feel like you got a guy that can adequately fill the role?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, they're good athletes. They just haven't played a lot, so they need to get some experience. Mike Kelly's probably a little ahead that way. He has been on the field more, but they're all good athletes. They're all capable of playing.
Real quickly, what I was also going to ask you about Tyris Wooten. I think it's a really interesting story about a guy that this time last year was a wide receiver, and now he's starting at corner, and he seems to be coming along fairly well. How would you say he's making that transition?
I think he's made a tremendous transition. You know, we brought him over in the spring. Up to that point, he'd never played DB, so he's very dedicated. He works hard, and you know, he focuses, and you can see him growing. You know, every week he gets better, and you know, it's just a process. But he's done a really nice job.
Coach said you all are always thinking out of the box and trying to figure out if a guy who might be buried on the depth chart here could help you here. When you looked at Wooten, what made you think, hey, this guy might be a corner?
I think just the way he runs, he's got really good feet. You know, and he was a little bit down on the depth chart at receiver, and so, you know, we'd rather have him on the field playing than being behind some guys that maybe he was behind. And athletically, he's just what you're looking for a corner. You know, he's a 5'11", 6-foot guy that can really run, and he's got good feet. So I'm glad we made that move.
I think when we talked about him in the summer, you mentioned that he's got good change of direction, can go get it. Is that as well as the skills you're looking for at a corner?
Yeah, a guy that can jump, a guy that can run. Corners have to be the most athletic guys on the team. So, and he's definitely one of those guys.
Okay. This time last year, you're a wide receiver, and then all of a sudden here you are starting at corner. How difficult has that transition been?
It hasn't been too tough because I played a little bit in high school, so it's just getting down to techniques and putting all the preparations together to get ready for the games.
So what did, you know, when they came to you and said we'd like to switch, make a switch, what did you think? I mean, I'm sure you'd been working hard at wide receiver and put in the time and effort to try to improve at that position, and then it's almost like starting over.
Actually, I was excited about it because coming into Naps, I wanted to play either DB or receiver. I didn't know yet, but coming into here, I kind of wanted to play DB a little bit, so I was given the opportunity, so I was pretty excited about it.
So in high school, what did you play? What was your primary position?
DB was my primary position, but I play receivers also.
Right. So you've got these dual skills. This is not new to you.
No, sir.
What would you say is more important with a corner as opposed to wide receiver? Is there any particular skills that you feel you had to develop playing corner as opposed to receiver?
Not really. Just basic techniques, things like T-plan, get your hips loose, turn and go, and just basic stuff like that. But not too much.
So all of a sudden you find yourself going against some pretty good wide receivers. You know, I think you saw Robinette a little bit the other night. Mm-hmm. This Houston crowd's good. Whoever lines up against you, kind of tell me about the challenge of going against these really good receivers. And a lot of times you're out there on an island and there's no hiding.
Oh yeah, of course against Houston we know it's going to be a really good team, but I think we prepared for them well enough, so I'm not too worried about it.
So when you made the move it was in the spring, correct? Was there anybody in particular that helped you? Maybe some veteran guys that kind of maybe told you some things that might help?
Yeah, a little bit. Merchant and Brendan Clemens helped me a little bit over the summer, get my technique down and get everything, just learn the plays and get right into it, so I don't have to really struggle with learning the plays once I come back into corner during the season.
So now that you've had a few games under your belt, I'm sure playing in games is way different than the practices. Is there anything you feel you need to improve upon?
Just working on my eyes, getting my eyes right, looking at the right place, and just technique things, like I said earlier. But that's about it.